I was sleeping soundly, so cozy in my bed, when I was suddenly awoken by this.
Huh?
I had a freaking meltdown in my bed. I was so freaked out. And on top of that, the sirens started going off. So you had like the sirens sounding and this robotic voice saying all these weird things. And it was a
Okay, anyone watching ever experienced this? And how true is this? That's kinda scary, no? Today I will be reacting to emergency alert systems are scary. To be honest, my friends, I don't even know what those are. But before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much, my friend. This is the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Now, link for the original video in my description, and well, let's play it.
I want to tell you a true story from my youth. Okay, so back in the day, I used to go to bed and I'd fall asleep with the TV on. I was afraid of ghosts and stuff.
We all
it
did
doesn't
this.
matter, all right. I was sleeping soundly, so cozy in my bed, when I was suddenly awoken by this.
Huh?
I had a freaking meltdown in my bed. I was so freaked out. And on top of that, the sirens started going off. So you had like the sirens sounding and this robotic voice saying all these weird things. And it was a
Okay, anyone watching ever experienced this? And how true is this? That's kinda scary, no? Wow.
terrifying experience. Everything was fine though. We went down the basement and the guy was like, never mind. It was just a little rotation. It's fine. Go back to bed. But yeah, emergency alerts, they're pretty intense. These alerts are specifically designed to get your attention, and that's why the noise is so scary. It's
So no matter what's going on the TV, if they feel the necessity to tell you something, they put this and shuts off completely what you are watching, even if it's cable and stuff like that. That's crazy.
supposed to be. If it
I
was
mean, but makes sense, right? Because if there is some dangers, they are actually helping you. Don't get me wrong, but I never experienced that actually.
some happy little harp noise, no one would pay attention to that. If I was just sleeping there and all of a sudden,
Tornado emergency. Please go to the basement.
I wouldn't wake up. Are you joking me? For safety reasons, emergency alerts need to be terrifying.
Makes
and
sense,
today,
actually.
we're actually going to do a deep dive into the history of emergency alerts.
Oh boy.
We're going to look at the scariest alerts. We're going to look at other alerts from other countries. We're going to look at rare alerts. That's what we're talking about. Let's get into it.
So, just to give some context on this, I never saw one of those things on my TV. Never. Here in Portugal. Sometimes when the weather is quite rough, we may get a message basically on the phone. You know what I mean? But that's about it.
It is now time for Soil Studios history lesson. Let me take you back to August 29th, 1949. The Soviet Union had just tested their first atomic bomb, RDS-1. Between 1945 and 1949, the United States were the only country with atomic bomb capabilities. During those 4 years, the US had more power than any country ever, because they could literally just destroy an entire city like that if they wanted to, all right? But that would change in 1949 when the Soviet Union was like, we also have atomic bombs. A new atomic power had entered the chat, thus beginning the Cold War. Stockpiles rose along with tensions, and the US knew they needed
To be honest, my friends, the atomic bomb is such a bad invention because now a lot of countries have it. Oh man, this is not good for us. Talking about humans.
a way to notify every citizen in the event of an atomic attack. Enter the Civil Defense Administration in 1950. It was FCDA's job to protect every citizen in the event of World War III, and they did this by putting in a number of measures, including fallout shelters, civil defense sirens, my favorite being the Federal Signal Thunderbolt, as well as a broadcast system known as Conelrad. Conelrad is like the grandfather of the modern EAS. So what even is it? Well, it's more of an emergency broadcast station and less of an emergency alert. Essentially, in the event of an atomic attack, all radio stations would interrupt normal programming and tell the listener to tune to the special Conelrad stations of 6:40 or 12:40 a.m. It was on these stations where the listener would then get vital information on the current situation. The reason for there being 2 stations was actually because the listener would have to switch between the 2 every few minutes. This was meant to throw off any attacker from trying to crack into the system. I imagine
I had no idea about this. Okay, let's continue.
back in the day, back in the 50s, kids, they would learn 911. Like every kid knows 911. But it wouldn't surprise me if they were also taught 12:40 a.m., 6:40 a.m. In fact, cars back in the day actually had to have special Conelrad markings on their radio dials for the stations of 6:40 and 12:40. Let's go ahead and check out the Conelrad station today. Let's see what's going on.
Dude, if that works, that's scary. No chance, right?
I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
Conelrad, it wasn't perfect. There were many false alarms. Lightning was kind of a hazard and it would mess things up all the time. And on top of that, Conelrad was designed for enemy bombers, but bombers weren't really an issue anymore. The issue became ICBMs, missiles. Traditional bombers couldn't blow up every city at the same time, so time wasn't a huge deal, but with the introduction of ICBMs, time was now of the essence. You may only have 10 to 15 minutes before the bombs hit, so the Federal Civil Defense Administration replaced Conelrad with the Emergency Broadcast System, or EBS, in 1963. EBS is actually very similar to the modern EAS. In an event where the Emergency Broadcast System was needed, the president himself would send an emergency action notification, or EAN, to all major TV and radio stations. They would then pause any broadcast and show the alert. The alert would start off with a creepy tone known as the attention signal.
To HELP.
That's 37.
Dude, what? But this makes a lot of sense. He tries to capture you right away. Look at what's on the TV, okay?
These tones were engineered to be unnerving. They would achieve this by playing 2 tones, one at 853 Hz and one at 960 Hz.
Ooh, I hate
Put
that.
them together and you have the attention signal. Following the alert signal, a real-life person would then read off a script written to them from the president. There were 2 different scripts depending on how severe the emergency was. The first one was the white card message, aka EAN-1. This was just a general emergency declaration. Nothing too specific, but stay alert. Kind of like a tornado watch, but with atomic bombs. And there actually exists some pre-recordings of white card messages. This particular example comes from WGN in 1985. Take a listen.
We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the Emergency Broadcast System. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during the emergency. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instructions as soon as possible for the Northeast section of Illinois.
The fact that we can listen to these is pretty wild. Like, they didn't know that YouTube was going to be a thing, so the man who recorded this thought if anyone heard it, it would be a serious situation. It's a bit unnerving to listen to for that reason. The red card script, or EAN2, meant that
Okay, this is getting intense. Okay, I feel like I'm not reacting that much, but I'm enjoying this video, okay.
an attack was 100% happening. Unfortunately, there are no known TV pre-recorded scripts. However, there are a few pre-recorded scripts for radio. This one comes from Philadelphia radio station WFIL in the early 1970s. Take a listen.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is an attack warning. Repeat, this is an attack warning. Attack warning means that an actual attack against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations shall broadcast emergency action notification message number 2, red card.
Essentially, yeah, we're under attack. You need to get the heck out. Sirens would go off.
Dude, I don't even know how I would react to that, actually. The country is under attack. Okay, I mean, what can I do? I would go like, yeah, nice. Not nice, actually, the opposite, but, well.
They'd be doing the attack whale.
We don't have guns here, by the way.
Which is when
so I cannot even pick my gun to try to defend my country. It's kind of like I have to do my karate, but that's about it.
Goes up and down. Not a good situation. The emergency broadcast system was tested many times throughout the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and a lot of kids were totally freaked out by these tests. Like, some of them are genuinely scarred, and they can be creepy, especially if the test interrupts, like, a TV show meant for kids. Like, if you're watching Sesame Street and all of a sudden this happens.
That's so creepy, actually. Yeah, that if that happens, imagine a kid watching, the favorite cartoon or even the Sesame Street. That kid needs, some sessions in the future with some type of psychologist. You know what I mean? Because that's fucked up. Sorry, it is what it is.
Those blood red letters. Yeah, a lot of TV stations had their own custom screens. And some of them were pretty chill, no big deal. But some of them were a bit sketch. In this first example, I don't know exactly what happened, but for some reason the attention signal is all messed up and distorted, and there's like this red screen. It's just weird. Take a look.
Okay.
For the next 60 seconds, this station will conduct a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test.
This next one's kind of creepy because someone recorded it with like a camcorder, and it just has like this kind of horror movie vibe to it. Also, I've heard from a lot of people that the logo itself, like the Civil Defense logo, the CD logo, they were actually afraid of the logo. They weren't afraid of anything else, but when that logo popped up, they were like, I feel like this next example has a pretty creepy Civil Defense logo. Check it out.
Oh, in red and dark.
I mean, it is kind of creepy. I don't know why, but it just looks kind of weird. And
that's demonic stuff.
So in the 60s, in the 70s, these kind of alerts were only meant for like World War III atomic warfare, like nuclear Armageddon. But people started thinking, what if we started using this for weather emergencies? Like, what if...
Yo, I think that's going a bit too far, my friends. For weather, really? I think the sirens are enough, no? Why, watching TV also, oh my God, look at, okay, it is weather or are we under attack? I guess they tell you, right? But it's still crazy.
If we took the sirens, the civil defense sirens, and used them as tornado sirens? What if we took EBS alerts and used them for weather? So in 1976, they started doing that. I think in large part, this was actually in response to the 1974 super outbreak that took 310 lives. And a lot of TV stations had their own weather emergency slides. Like, check out this tornado warning slide.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Speaking of tornado warnings, tornado season is quickly approaching. And to get myself into the mood, I've been watching all sorts of tornado movies, tornado TV shows, but unfortunately, some of these tornado movies are not available for streaming in my country. That's why I'm...
So I believe this is an ad, but let's play the ad since we are reacting. But you guys told me in the comments that there is people chasing tornadoes, and they make that a profession. Is that true? How crazy is that actually? Imagine trying to find a tornado. That's insane.
I'm thankful for today's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is a virtual private network that gives you full online privacy by encrypting your data and IP address. That way, marketers, internet service providers, and government agencies can't access your data. This is especially important if you're using public Wi-Fi. If I'm at a coffee shop or a hotel editing a video, I don't want some employee looking at my stuff. Get out of here. NordVPN. Turn on. Also, did you know that a ton of internet service providers actually throttle your internet speed if you're streaming or gaming? Well, they can't with NordVPN. Speaking of streaming, if specific movies or TV shows aren't available to watch in your country, you can use NordVPN to access other libraries in other countries. It's pretty awesome. You can get 2 years plus 4 months free using this link, nordvpn.com/SwoilStudios. And if you're not satisfied, no problem. It's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's nordvpn.com/SwoilStudios to get a crazy good discount. The link is also in the description and in the pinned comment. Be sure to check it out. Thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring the channel. So at the federal level, at the national level, there is EBS, but many different localities actually have their own warning alert systems. These are known as local access alerts, or emergency override systems. Sometimes local authorities know way more about a situation than the national government, and if they need to inform the public, a local access alert is the best way to do it. What's interesting about local access alerts is that they are different throughout the entire United States. Some of them are very chill, a simple tone, maybe a little Morse code, and some of them literally had alarms going off. I want to look at some of the creepier ones. Okay. Let's start off with this tornado watch in Sioux City.
Good, great news.
Oh, aliens. No, this is aliens.
This is the South Sioux City Police.
Definitely pretty strange, that static screen and the weird UFO.
No, aliens tried to contact those people, but no chance.
Bowie noises.
Yeah.
This tritone one from St. Joseph, Missouri is also a bit sketch. Take a listen.
This is a weather bulletin from the St. Joseph's Communications Center. A tornado watch is in
St. Joseph actually has a lot of weird ones. They had another one in 2003 that was just, take a listen to this. It's...
Show us. Holy!
Phase 1 of the emergency snow ordinance is now in effect. Vehicles must have chains or snow tires on.
And perhaps the most startling is this local access alert from Yukon, Oklahoma in 1999. Take a listen.
And half a mile in front of us, getting ready to. What we'll do.
This is nice. Maybe not.
So yes, very strange sounds indeed. But there was one sound that I have yet to mention.
That was some techno. House, no?
And that is this one.
Oh.
This one to me is actually the creepiest. This is the screeching sound that many are familiar with during a severe weather event. So what is this? This is known as SAME, or SAME, or Specific Area Message Encoding. These sounds are actually data bursts.
What?
So what the heck is a data burst? Well, that noise is the sound of a sequence of numbers containing vital information about a specific alert.
But why?
This is who is sending the message. This is what is happening. This is who is affected. So these are like different counties and stuff. And this is the source that's sending the alert. The same sound was developed throughout the 80s and the 90s by the National Weather Service as a way to encode messages through tones. The creation of the same tone was a big deal, and at the same time, EBS was having some major issues. Many stations had terrible procedures, and there were inexperienced operators. The Cold War had ended. It was time for a change, and that change would come on January 1st, 1997, when the Emergency Broadcast System was replaced by the Emergency Alert System, or EAS. There was a lot of benefits to...
I wonder if this is still popular in America, or is something from the past that does not happen that much.
The EAS compared to the EBS. First of all, you don't need someone reading off a script. So due to the nature of that same tone, the screeching tone, since that's a data stream, computers can just take that data and then read it off. That's where you get that creepy robotic voice. It kind of makes it a little scarier when you have a robot saying just random towns and stuff.
Their service in Indianapolis has issued a tornado warning for northeastern Davies County.
But it's very useful because you don't need someone reading off a script every time there's a tornado or every time there's a severe thunderstorm.
This is a great point.
Watch or whatever. The National Weather Service could just be like, oh, it's not looking good over in Illinois. We better put in a severe thunderstorm watch. Send it, and then the robot can read it out to everybody. It's very convenient. Of course, many people think about weather when they think of emergency alert systems. They think of tornadoes, floods, severe weather. It makes sense, because that's by far the most common alert that we get. However, on rare occasions, we can get non-weather alerts.
Wait, what? Okay.
Sometimes there's a shelter-in-place alert or a civil danger warning alert. This might be because there's a shooter on the loose or someone has escaped from prison or something. These are pretty rare, obviously, but they are definitely terrifying. But there's a whole list of codes for different alerts, and you can see them on Wikipedia. Like, look at this. Here's the code for nuclear meltdown. We even have volcanoes. Technically, EAS is still meant for national emergencies. Just like EBS and Conelrad back in the day, EAS is meant for like World War III. But it's never been used for that, obviously. And it's only been tested a handful of times. The first time they ever tested it was in November of 2011.
Watching television or you're listening to the radio, you are about to hear it. We're told it will last just 30 seconds.
1370.
And it didn't go super well. If you listen to the test, there's a lot of reverb, there's a lot of echoes.
In your area, had this been an actual emergency, the attention signal...
Oh, this is
not
a mess.
quite how they planned it. Since then, they have improved the system a little bit, and there have been a few other tests. Other countries have their own emergency alert systems. Canada's is very similar to the US's, but the alarm sound is quite intense. Take a listen.
New Amsterdam on Global.
Yeah.
Oh, Canadians are not messing around. Okay, I mean, good on them.
It's wild, but not quite as creepy as China's, which has both an alarm and a countdown. Check it out. Not what I would want to be hearing during the end days. People are really into emergency alert systems. Like, you go on YouTube and there's all these like mock scenarios of, you know, different, the sun went out. Like, some of them are kind of creepy, some of them are kind of funny. There was one that was an EAS, like, don't turn off the lights. It's just so creepy, actually. But honestly, EAS is already outdated. I mean, think about it. Who watches TV? Who listens to the...
I mean, a lot of people still watch TV. What argument is this?
The radio. Hardly anybody. That's why the emergency...
What? I mean, here's a lot of people... Wait, okay, this is... he is young. You know what I mean? A lot of people still watch TV, right? Or even listen to the radio station.
The alert system is slowly being replaced by wireless emergency alerts, or WEAs. That's that
well, this happens, yeah, here, so makes sense.
Classic alarm that you get on your phone if something bad is going on. These are used for 3 different reasons. They use them for national emergencies, but they're also used for weather, just like EAS. Here's an example of a tornado warning, and I think they're best known for Amber Alerts. False alarms do happen with WEAs, the classic example being the January 13th, 2018 ballistic missile false alarm in Hawaii.
What ballistic missile? Oh my, you cannot mess with this. Dude, there was people putting that house for sale, probably. Oh my god.
Look at this. Could you imagine seeing a message like this on your phone?
Dude, I would leave the country.
Terrifying. This was not good. People like freaked out. People on the roads hid in tunnels. A bunch of people took shelter. It was not good. In fact, Vern Miyagi of the Hawaiian Emergency Management Agency stepped down from his role, even though it wasn't even his fault. The whole Hawaiian missile crisis thing is just, it's a weird thing because it's like the only example of what a true red card message would look like how people would actually react to it. Let's just hope that that never happens. Let's hope we never get a true red card national emergency alert. And on that note, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay. Great video, actually. By the way, I already watched this one. Tornadoes, sirens are scary. This was an intense one also. I'm thinking about watching this, the top 10 most infamous F5 and the E5 tornadoes. Should I watch it? Leave me a comment if you think so. That said, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Really means a lot. And do not forget to leave a like. See you guys next time. Bye.